Straya, how are you going? You're good, you should be. Why is that, Jim? Well, TGIF, am I right? It's Football Friday. We're all knocking off early. We're watching the Socceroos. We're smashing tins all day. It's going to be awesome. And also, we got another trade. That's right. The biggest trade we've all been waiting for outside of Onyas is Josh Green traded to Minnesota. That's right. They've traded Naz Reid for Josh Green and a bloke named LaMelo Ball. So we're going to talk about that on today's show a little bit. This is NBA Straya. I'm your host, James Clements, here in Larry Armour Studios. We've got the Socceroos playing Paraguay today, so we're going a little bit early. Just get this one done. Didn't do a show yesterday because I thought the LaMelo trade might be happening. So I'm like, I don't want to, have to do yesterday's, second round wrap and blah, 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 and then jump on and do another one today. So here we are. We're going to do the LaMelo trade reaction. We've got the second round of the draft, Austin Reaves' extension, a bunch of other stuff. But basically what it means with LaMelo next to Ant-Man and a bunch of other stuff in there. Also, a couple of we've got three other big questions that I want answered. We've got a, free agency starts next week. I've got three big things I want to have vaguely answered by the start of free agency. It might not happen, but I want it. So we'll talk about that as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. Episode 1423? Question mark? Of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gay.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Darcy Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
Well, you better watch out for the LaMelo attack if you're a pedestrian, another car, anybody else in the greater Minneapolis area. Jesus. I'll tell you what you got to look out for if you're a traffic cop in Minneapolis. All those bonuses you're going to be making. Jeez. All right, let's start today's show with the daily. Oh, he hasn't plugged it in. That was a whip around. I've got to plug this one in and then press the whip around button. That was a really good one. It did a cool move at the same time. There you go. Got to watch the YouTube. Yes. Let's start there. The Knicks are still NBA champions, but we've all moved on. Right. And how? Minnesota pull off a massive move today. LaMelo Ball and Josh Green, our beloved Josh Greeny Green, heading to Minnesota in exchange for Naz Reid, a 2033 first-round pick, 3 first-round pick swaps in 28, 29, and 30, and 3 second-rounders. Ooh-la! This is a big one. So, with this all happening, as I've already posted on the socials, this is paternity test meets driving test. What a backcourt. Holy crap. I'm fascinated what other people think about this trade. We'll get to the second round of the draft in a minute. But this obviously takes massive precedence because it sort of changes very dramatically the makeup of one of the top West contenders in a way that was probably a little bit unexpected, even though we knew that they'd been chasing LaMelo Ball for a little while. For it to actually happen with Naz Reid going out and them having already salary dumped Julius Randle, oh boy, it gets a little bit janky. And on the flip side, the Charlotte Hornets have just traded every kid's favorite player. It's not Steph Curry anymore, it's LaMelo Ball, right? You go into any shop, and I go into a lot of them, that sells NBA jerseys. The squid ones are all Charlotte Hornets and ones. And I'll tell you what, this new Charlotte Hornets front office has got some cojones because to trade a star, and look, you can call him a superstar if you want. I don't know if I'd go that far because I feel like if you're a superstar, you kind of got to, win games a lot of the time. That's just me, It's a big one that I like if you win games. That makes you a superstar. This is, however, a dude who this season was pretty good. You know, he was fine. LaMelo. Was he a super duper star? I don't really... Maybe. At times. Averaged a 20.5 rebounds, 7 assist line, 40% shooting, 36.8% from 3 on 10.3 attempts. Hello. And 2.8 turnovers. So, let's sort of look at this, right? Charlotte have just gone, yeah, look, we understand what we've got here in LaMelo, and we're okay. They get their heads kicked in that final play-in game, which Con Knipple completely no-shows, FYI. LaMelo wasn't that bad. He had 23. He also wasn't that good. This is obviously a smart move by a smart front office trying to be smart. Sometimes you can be too fucking smart, right? Nerds don't understand that. Right, that's kind of like a big thing. I've always got to be smarter than the next person. We already understand. Look, we look at these numbers. Sometimes vibes fucking matter. And trading a star, not a superstar. Again, superstar still for me, just make a fucking second round of the playoffs. Then we're talking. You have to hope that it works out. Because you've taken your fans and completely fucked them, right? You fucked over all your fan base. This is your dude. You drafted him. He's grown up. Like, he's fucking a part of the fabric of your team, and you ship him out, and you get Naz Reid, who everybody does love, but he's not a star on the level of LaMelo. You get a first rounder and a couple of other ones, and you'll hear people going, they sold high. They sold high. They didn't fucking sell high if he plays, or like, if he stuck around next year and was fantastic. They pulled the ripcord at a time that they felt it was convenient and palatable, right? It's not selling high. It's palatable. This is, we got a good return. We don't know what would happen fucking next year because this dude has struggled to stay healthy over the years. He finally stays healthy. We've sold high. You sold palatably because he could stay healthy again next year. You know, ifs and buts, right? If your fucking auntie had a pain, she'd be your uncle. It's smart. I get it, but I don't have to like it. And the flip side for me is Minnesota. Exact same vibe. You're changing your entire risk profile of your team. You're changing the entire outlook for your team, right? You've gone from this hard-nosed defense first, big bruising fucking defensive, like just... we're going to fuck you up down in the trenches kind of shit to look at this fuckhead in his pink Cybertruck. Right? He's crashed 7 cars in the last 2 weeks on that fucking ice just outside the arena. What a fucking moron, right? This is now putting a very, 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 very interesting wrinkle into your matchups with like the other sort of West contenders like OKC and the Spurs, right? You've suddenly got a very big backcourt, similar to the Spurs, somewhat similar-ish, I guess, to OKC. But it also leaves them without a power forward. Johan Berengay. Maybe this is the time when we've got Rocco Zakarsky. Oh my God, it's Rocco's music. He comes out. He's the Wemby stopper, maybe. He's learned under Rudy Gobert for a year, and he's like coming out going, I don't know where my arms are or my legs, and I'm fucking like Gumby, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I can stop Wemby. Maybe not, but still. The Wolves completely changing the face of their fucking team to go, right, backcourt with AO as well, right? We've got LaMelo, we've got Ant-Man, we've got AO. We're suddenly going speed and scoring with Rudy Gobert at the back. McDaniel's here as well. Oh, Lord, look out. And suddenly it also, with that heightened risk profile, for me, it's almost a little bit too risky. So I struggle with the idea of Ant-Man, a bloke who's already got 27 fucking kids and very clearly can't make a decision to pull out, next to a bloke who fucking peels out and is 100% going to like either kill himself or a fucking poor pedestrian or something at some point because he's dumb as a bag of rocks. You put those two things together. I don't care how much they want to play together. This is cool. We got the first and third pick of the fucking, what was that, the 2020 draft? And I kind of feel like as good as it'll be on paper and all the other fucking nerds out there you'll hear going, oh my God, it just is, it's such a great fit. It's like, have you ever hung out with idiots? Growing up in Ballarat, I've hung out with my fair share of idiots. Me being one of them. I'm a fucking moron. And, you know, you hang out with other idiots, you're like, Jesus fucking Christ, these guys are dumb. And then when you pair up dummies, guess what happens? Dumb shit. So now we're putting a lot onto fucking Jaden McDaniels and Chris Finch and Rudy Gobert to be like the fucking actual adults who can keep these two fucking absolute lunatics in line. And I'm worried. I kind of think if you were like, Jim, what's the actual outcome of this Minnesota Timberwolves LaMelo Ball trade? Do they win a title or is it a fucking out-and-out disaster? I am 100% on the disaster side. Like, I can see that much more clearly than I can see them winning a fucking title. Again, they don't have a power forward unless you're going to start Terrence Shannon Jr. very quickly, which just feels a bit, how you going? Johan Berenguer, he's like a little bit still, you know, a way away. You got slow-mo Kyle Anderson. If you want to start your three guards, that's cool. Defensively, you might get fucking shredded. Offensively, you suddenly might be an absolute juggernaut. We don't know. But LaMelo, look, he was very, very, very good. He was the straw that stirred the drink there in Charlotte. And that's good. You might go, well, that's just completely additive, Jim. Now that they Ant-Man doesn't get double-teamed every time he fucking crosses half court like he was getting by, was it San Antonio and stuff, and you're like, Jesus, now he's got LaMelo. This will be a lot easier. That's fine. Is LaMelo going to play defense, though? Because he didn't do much of that in Charlotte. So, look, let's just go back and sort of look at the way that this is all laid out. So that's sort of my initial impressions. I sort of just jotted down some notes for each of the two teams about this trade as well. And if I'm going on, I'm sorry, not sorry. This is a big fucking move, right? For one of the bigger contenders we've got in the West. And one of the single most fun teams we've seen in the last few years in Charlotte. So, starting with Charlotte. You trade away LaMelo, who's the face of your franchise, he's your homegrown superstar. Not a superstar if you ask me. And as I said, it's smart because you've sold at a palatable time for you where you've got Con Knipple. You've got now, you've just had this draft where you've got Hannes Steinbach and co. And a bunch of other sort of players where you're like, ooh, we've got a bit of depth. We're feeling pretty good about this. We've re-signed Coby White to a 3-year, $74 million extension now as well. So we can piece together the LaMelo part, where they've also, they drafted Hans Christian Andersen, and Hannes Steinbach. So they've just gone and gotten Hans Christian Andersen. And you've got Moose Diabate, you've got Naz Reid, you've got Kalkbrenner, you've got Grant Williams. Remember TJ Salon? He's still there. But Connie Nips and Brandon Miller are your ones where you're like, we think they can turn into actual legit rolled gold super duper stars. Or at least very fucking decent stars. They're both on the right trajectory. We get that. Now you add Naz Reid in there. You got this 3-headed center monster. And you're piecing together the LaMelo stuff between Coby White, Hans Christian Andersen, Trey Mann, right? And that's fine. I get it. But you also just had the most fucking fun season you've had since 1993, right? Oh, but they've made the playoffs since... Yeah, but they've always just been a bit fucking weird and shit since then, right? Go back to the height of Muggsy Bogues, Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning. You've not been more into the culture, if you're the Charlotte Hornets, than you were for a minute there in that second half of last season, which was fucking electric. They were +9 across the season with LaMelo. He was very, very, very good. As I said, he was the straw that stirred the drink. The big thing we banged fucking nonstop on about on NBA Straya was quite simply when Charlotte had all their dudes, all of them. They were fucking wicked. if you took one piece out, it all just went a bit fucking squirrely. And then when LaMelo was back and ironically, his play is exactly like his driving. Crazily fucking reckless. But it worked when they added Connie Nips with Miller, that piece of shit Miles Bridges. And like Moose Diabate was very good. Now you've got Naz Reid there as well, along with Kalkbrenner, a healthy Grant Williams, and Hunter Steinbach. Christian Anderson there as your backup point guard if need be, Coby White. It's also, though, taking your identity and you're taking that one step back, hopefully to take 2 steps forward, I guess. That's their entire thing. And this is the thing with nerds. It's like, well, the numbers say that if I do this, then in like 2 years we'll be like this. Will ya? Right? Are you sure? I don't know. Because, flip side, vibes. The vibes are chaos. And when you've got an actual identity that they built up across that second half of last season, to throw that away, to get Naz Reid, an unprotected 2033 first-round pick, which, again, is very, very solid, as well as, 3 swaps. I don't know. You better fucking hope this works out. Because for all the bad stuff that LaMelo did, the not knowing the entire situation with the clock, playing basketball, not seemingly knowing that winning games, and like you're playing out there, you're actually on the court to win the game, not to just put on a show. Like again, I've said before and I'll say it again, he's as dumb as a bag of rocks. And at times you'd be like, does he understand the concept that if you win the game, that's a good thing? Like it's not, well, we put on a pretty good show, we lost. What are you going to do? The thing is, you'd sort of hope that the way that they sort of came together across the back half of last season, when their point differentials through the fucking roof, they're like one of the best teams in the entire NBA. Yes, they crash and burn in the second play-in. You get that on the big jobs. You're a young team. You're learning how to play together still. To give that up, just to go, well, we're selling high, we're selling palatably, it just kind of shits me a little bit, right? This is one of those things where I get why you do it. I don't have to like it. And I don't like it for Charlotte. Like, they'll be fine, but they had something special and they sort of fucked it for the sake of fucking it. And yes, it would have gotten weird when you got LaMelo on a max. You'll probably have Spindles Miller on a max. You'll probably have Connie Nips on a max at some point as well. But guess what? Any team that has like drafts good will have that problem at some point. OKC's doing it right now. But if you've got that core, you can sort of build out everything else around it. So if you trade a star, you got to fucking hope it works out. Coby White, in terms of fun, kind of also helps just like push this in the right direction. Christian Anderson might be able to step in and help fairly early on as well as a backup. They should still be fun, but wow. To just fucking pull the ripcord on an awesomely fun identity, an awesome team that's super duper young, that meant so much to the team, that had your first buzz, ironically, in fucking Queen City in Buzztown for the first time in fucking 30 years, and you tap out. We're going to fucking stop these nerds, man. We're going to fucking stop these nerds. Still, they got Naz Reid. They've got a big, tough guy. That's cool. Got some first-round picks. You got plenty of other shit. Who knows what's going to happen now? But for Charlotte, you look around the East, and with the Bucks getting your man Giannis, it was always going to be a bit tricky for them to go, oh yeah, we'll be just as good as we were last year, 44-38, feeling pretty bloody good about ourselves. And then like the Bulls get better, the Pacers will be back, the Wizards get substantially better, the Bucks will be, how you going? But like, there is like literally Brooklyn and not much else in terms of shit East teams. And so Charlotte, are you up for the fucking fight or not? That's what I want to know. And it kind of feels like they've just gone, nah, we're not quite ready up for the fight, which just kind of bugs me. Other side, the Timberwolves. Yes, Jim, they raised their risk profile, didn't they? Yes. They've changed their identity. Yes. They got rid of Julius Randle. Nice. They lose Naz Reid, beloved Timberwolf. It's sort of hard to escape the idea that the Dante DiVincenzo injury completely sank this version of the Wolves, right? They can't afford to keep Nicky Alexander-Walker and Naz Reid 2 years ago. They make the cat trade as well. Dante is now hurt. Randall's already gone. It's all gone to shit. But they did fleece Chicago for AO. You've got Ant-Man, AO, Rudy, Jaden McDaniels, and then, yeah, not much. But now you've got LaMelo. So you got this supersized point guard that you can put next to Ant-Man, supersized shooting guard. You got this big backcourt that you can see when you close your eyes, as well as AO as well. He's not very small at all. You've essentially got this setup where you go, well, we've looked at San Antonio, we've looked at their fucking bevy of terrifying guards, and now we've got like a battery of guards that we can go to war with. And if we can piece out the other bits around that with McDaniels, excellent. Rudy Gobert, as long as he stays healthy. Yohan Bettingay. Obviously Rocco. Now we've got a defensive backup guard in Josh Green. Shit. All right, let's fucking go. It's going to be very interesting though. Because really, they still don't have a power forward. Unless you want to start Jaden McDaniels there and start your 3 guards. Sure. The thing is, Rudy Gobert's probably never had a lob thrower as good as LaMelo. LaMelo has probably never had as good of a lob threat to throw to as Rudy Gobert. This is pretty good. Ant-Man, for all his like excellent playmaking, his lobs, whew, some of them. Remember something just flying over the top of the backboard? You're like, what the fuck was that? That's good. The downside, however, is LaMelo realizing that he's not the star and going, all right, I'm the second banana here. This isn't my team. How do you reckon he reacts to that? Do you think it's going to be well? Have you seen him before? Maybe. He could be the consummate teammate. Will he play defense, though, is going to be the big one. Chris Finch is going to fucking ride his ass as well. You think that he got away with some shit in Charlotte? Well, remember when he stopped getting away with shit and was starting to get benched in the fourth quarter because these coaches didn't fucking trust his decision-making or his defense? And they're like, LaMelo, just you take a seat, right? Yeah, remember that? So for all the fucking, it's going to be awesome on paper. It's like, is it? All right. But the thing is, I guess it lets Ant-Man shine a little bit more because he's got a secondary creator that isn't fucking mummified Mike Conley or old-ass Jingling Joe Ingles. So you take the pressure off Ant-Man. Maybe he gets to another level completely. Playing with the 3 guards, maybe that just spaces shit out even better if you're going McDaniels at the 4 and Rudy at the 5. You've suddenly got the lob threat of Rudy opened up a lot better with LaMelo out there. Maybe the playmaking next to Ant-Man just completely lets it all soar. But I'll tell you what, the maturity side of this is the thing that just fucking bugs me. And like, again, as I said, if you've worked with a couple of idiots or if you've hung out with idiots, when you get 2 idiots together, fucking who knows what's going to happen. It could be hilarious. It could be awesome. But more than likely, it just goes to fucking shit, would be my guess. So you can see the good side. And like, this is Minnesota going, yeah, look, we very easily could just have stayed pat. I would have much rather like them trying to get Giannis. But obviously, when you see this package going out for LaMelo, and essentially this is them emptying the fucking chamber, like, brap, 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 like they're Ja Morant. They've got nothing left to trade now, right? They've out of pick swaps, out of picks. They're fucking done. Roll it, pack her up, boys. We are finished. So what happens now is like, you got to fucking hope this works. The good side, I guess, is LaMelo's contract isn't fucking crazily onerous because it's not like the 60 mil super duper max. It's like the 40 mil max, like 3 more years, that sort of stuff. And they've sort of gone, right, Ant-Man. We ran into a bit of a roadblock. Randall was absolutely dog shit in the playoffs. We get that. He's fucking gone now. Our beloved Naz Reid, back up big. He was a starting 4 finally for about 18 hours, and now he's in Charlotte. But we've got you LaMelo. So we understand that you were fucking pissed about not having a point guard and not being able to, like, you know, every time you cross fucking half court, you're being doubled. That probably won't happen now. We've got AO, we've got LaMelo, we've got you. Minnesota could have easily just stayed put and gone, Dante got hurt, AO got hurt, Ant-Man got hurt, and we still gave it to the Spurs for a game or 2. So I do like them just sort of opening up that fucking Pandora's box of just who knows what the fuck's going to happen with these three guards now. And like, yeah, they're going to play a lot different than they were. I can't help but think that, yeah, it could also just as easily be a fucking flat out disaster. So, I don't know. Let me know what you reckon. I think if I'm going to grade this for both teams, can I give them both a C-? Because you can see on paper why you'd do it. I never kind of got the appetite for Minnesota to go, wow, we need LaMelo Ball. It's like, do you? I don't kind of get that. But he is a big point guard. I get it. Next to Ant-Man, it makes sense. I just kind of wish they weren't both fucking morons. Ant-Man, I love him, but yeah. You can't have that many kids with that many chicks and be the smartest fucking cookie in the jar. Anyway, what else has been going on, Jim? Well, we had a couple of other contracts given out and floating around. So as I mentioned, Coby White signs a 3-year, $74 million deal to re-sign with the Hornets, which is pretty good, pretty smart, because it basically sort of stopgap playmaker. He's not LaMelo. He's not quite the drink stirrer that we've seen LaMelo be. But I think with a bit of this, like Connie Nips and Miller, we've sort of seen that their willingness to be part of that sort of team ethos. Maybe Coby White and Hans Christian Andersen can give you like a little bit of, like what, 65% of LaMelo, 75%, without the dumb decision making, without the potential for road hazards. Yeah, I don't know. But Coby White, I like that they just brought him back straight away. That's very smart. Elsewhere, Mark Williams is back on the Suns. That's basically the last of their free agents. Colin Gillespie, Jordan Goodwin, and now Mark Williams on a 3-year, $38 million deal. Not bad for your sort of stopgap big man, right? I think that's perfectly fine for the Suns. The thing is, my big worry for the Suns overall is that they had this surprisingly good year where, you know, the Dylan Brooks bump, as you sort of think of it, was very, very solid, and they make, what? They make the 8 seed 45-37 in the end. Did you ever think, feel like this? Strange things happen. Are you going around the twist? Because they then got fucking waxed in the first round by OKC. And it's hard to sort of shake the idea that Phoenix are like, oh, fucking, we're on the right path. And I'm like, that's the Dylan Brooks bump. You bring him into your team, you suddenly get a bit fucking tougher. Everyone's playing a little bit harder. Now you're all getting paid. And you're still looking there going, Dylan Brooks, Devin Booker, and Jalen Green are our lead. Oh, God. Yeah, if there's like one team that I think is not going to be that good next year in the West, it's probably Phoenix. But still, they brought Mark Williams back. Austin Reaves got the big contract. So, as I said, I was going to do a show yesterday. Austin Reaves news came out. Lakers max him out. But yeah, with the LaMelo trade happening, it was like, all right, fucking, if this is going to happen, we'll wait. And here we are. So Reaves, a 4-year, $185 million max contract to go back to the LA Lakers. A player option in the final season in 29-30. Not bad for a bloke who was on $14.9 million for next year. So, yeah, you'll take that. So apparently the Lakers had heard and knew that he'd gotten a couple of max contracts out there in free agency and sort of tried to just circumvent that. Apparently the Pistons were going hard after him, which would have been pretty fucking perfect if you ask me. So the Lakers went, nah, fuck that. Here's your money. Luka will be very, very happy with that. And I guess the only sort of big thing to come out of this for the Lakers now is like, what of LeBron? They still have his bird rights. They can bring him back and, you know, pay him whatever they need to. And I guess it's up to LeBron now to like, does he want to go to Golden State, back to Cleveland? Does he want to go somewhere else? Does he go to the Clippers? Does he go to New York, which would be the funniest one? But the Lakers, look, they've just gone Luka, Reaves. We're just hoping that Austin Reaves can be Luka's, you know, the second coming of Jalen Brunson for him. Maybe. And we'll build out around that. So good luck. But Austin Reaves got paid Tom Dundon is a cheap fuck, apparently. So apparently the new owner of the Blazers is like, nah, I'm not going to pay any money for the upgrade of the Motor Center. So that's where the Blazers play. Essentially, this is him going, nah, fuck you, I'm cheap as shit. I'm not going to, it's $600 million makeover, renovation, and he doesn't want to give any money towards it. So this guy fucking sucks, and he's sort of doing a bit of the old, I'll just fucking move the team. At which point, like, Portland Trailblazers fans should take to the fucking streets and just, Adam Silver has completely fucked this. Like, this guy fucking sucks ass. How you brought him in as an owner is fucking beyond me. Basically, he was like, I feel like we're making a pretty big investment just by staying here. What a fuckhead. So essentially going, yeah, we could just go. So, all right. I hope the other fucking owners like fucking, draw and quarter him. Because that guy fucking sucks. The Micah Nore fucking deal is just abysmal. A 1-year coaching deal. What a fucking prick. Poor Blazers fans. Other news, Kawhi. Still possible. He's like, look, I want to go back. I want to stay with the Clippers. I'm kind of happy here. But look, if other shit's going down, apparently he'd be okay with like signing an extension in Toronto. Apparently Detroit have kicked the tires on having a look at Kawhi as well. Apparently he doesn't want to sign an extension there. If I'm Detroit, I'm like, fuck it. Let's just do what Toronto did and just bring him in, win a title, and fucking yeah, man. But yeah, it was interesting on the draft broadcast the other day talking about his former teams are interested in him. So the Spurs, the Raptors. Interesting. But I think Detroit, fucking Kawhi would be the perfect fit. I don't know why I wouldn't go there apart from, I don't know, yeah, it's not LA. But Kawhi could be on the move. Otherwise, we also had the trades, a couple of trades. Beef Stew got traded to Memphis for nothing. What do you mean, Jim? Well, remember how Memphis moved back 5 spots in the draft and got 5 second-rounders for doing so? The 3 second-round picks that they got from Detroit to move from 17 to 21, they just gave back to Detroit, the 3 second-rounders, and got Beef Stew in return. That's free stew. It's pretty good. No one has ever been more of a grit and grind Memphis Grizzly than Beef Stew. So, apart from maybe Zebo, but I like it. Get an enforcer down there next to Edie and Cam Boozer, and away you go. He's also one who could fucking, handle Ja Morant if need be. And the other little one was obviously Chicago traded Braden Smith to the Pacers for Cam Jones. So an existing actual player got traded during the draft. It was the only one, I think, out of the entire 60 picks, which is crazy. So there you go. And then we also had I think the crazy part about the second round of the draft is that we had one single pick in the second round stay with the team that owned it, and that was Toronto. They're just like, nah, we want that pick. We're not trading it anywhere. So, yeah. And I think only 2 of the last 40 picks in the draft weren't traded. The other one was the Celtics, who took Chris Sinak at 27. So that was pretty weird. Right. What are the 3 big questions we got left basically for this weekend, right? Because next week, what do we got? Free agency, I think, on the Wednesday. It'll open up. We'll hear about more deals as the sort of days go on, heading up into free agency. And I think we're going to we'll do like a Monday show and a Wednesday show next week, I reckon. Sort of set you up for free agency and all the other off-season stuff on Monday. And then Wednesday sort of recapping all the moves that have already been made. But the 3 questions right now for this weekend and into free agency that is sort of standing out to me. What the fuck is going to happen with Ja Morant? Right? There are not many teams that actually need a point guard, especially one who has question marks around him not being a giant fuckwit. So, the Pelicans, the Rockets, the Raptors, the Heat, right? There's not much really else out there that you're like, oh yeah, definitely we need. He'd be good there. It's crazy. It's very thin on the ground in terms of needing like a point guard who's not exactly the world's greatest shooter. Has lost a bit of his athleticism thanks to all the injuries. Maybe he comes back and he's absolutely fucking flying around carving it up. But yeah, you sort of look down the list like the Raptors, Miami, who, I mean, what? They'd have to fucking give up Wiggins and it's like they've got nothing else to really fucking trade, right? And they're like basically, what are they? Hard cap too. So really, really tough there. Houston's the interesting one, I guess. But even then, like, it seems like a really gross kind of fit. Not so much the Warriors. I mean, the Bucks have already got a millionty point guards that they just traded for. The Pelicans, I mean, you've already got DeJounte Murray and like what? I mean, kind of that could work, but I'd probably just prefer DeJounte Murray in-house. Because Sacramento go and like draft Darius Acuff. Smart. Love that for them. The funniest thing would be Sacramento still going out and getting Ja Morant, so that's probably what they'll do. But yeah, the Raptors sort of feels like the only sort of blaring, oh God, we've actually got a couple of extra bits and bobs that we can trade. And we kind of maybe need a bit more of a downhill force with the ball in his hand. If you pair him with IQ, RJ and Scotty Barnes, but that's the problem. Like Scotty Barnes is kind of your downhill force. So I just don't know. Charlotte would be funny if they just replaced LaMelo Ball with Ja Morant. Sign me up. But yeah, Ja Morant, big question mark. Jaylen Brown is the other big question mark. What the fuck are Boston going to do with Jaylen Brown? Because there are still reports that they're kicking the tires and still, working on trades, looking at things out there. I can't imagine that's going over great with Jaylen Brown. So they're still actively talking about Jaylen Brown trades. I mean, he was obviously in the Giannis trade for a minute there. Outside of that, it's sort of, he'd be so fucking good on Detroit that it's kind of crazy. Next to Cade, next to Jalen Duren, look out. As long as you keep fucking Orsar Thompson, you can have the rest of our roster at that point. But otherwise, it's sort of a bit of a weird one to sort of see and think about where he could end up. But what happens? Like, as I said the other day, it feels like the toothpaste is out of the tube. What do? Yeah, it's going to get a bit squirrely. So Jaylen Brown, where would he even feasibly end up? It still feels like Portland is like a decent kind of landing spot for him. You've got Dame coming back. You've got Denny. There's a bunch of pieces that you could send back to Boston like Shaden Sharp and co. Time Lord. Stuff like that. A few picks floating around. So that's kind of an interesting one, I think. I mean, otherwise, it's pretty fucking, like, dire out there, if you ask me. Pistons would be a fun one. You're going to keep him in the same conference, though? I wouldn't want to do that. But the Pelicans, obviously, when you've got Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, and a bunch of other moving parts there, possibly you're trading for a bit more depth and just go, right, Tatum, you're our guy coming off that Achilles. I don't know. Bit fraught, bit weird. Jaylen Brown, big question mark over the weekend. The final one is Detroit basketball. What are they going to do? Because it feels like, obviously, they got into the Austin Reaves sweepstakes for a little bit. They're obviously, now they've got a bit of cat walking around money if need be. Norm Powell seems like the obvious fit in free agency for Detroit. Do they do something else on top of that, though? Do they go and get Michael Porter Jr. from Brooklyn? Do they jump into the Jaylen Brown sweepstakes? What do they do to sort of go, right, we completely fucked this year by not making a move. We're not panicking. We're just building out the rest of this team and trying to, they've obviously traded out Beef Stew. We needed to keep some of our toughness, right? Bad boy Pistons, now he's gone. It's a bit of a hard one, but you've got fighting Ron Holland. You've got some other dudes still there. Their problem is, like, there's not a, like with the Jaden Ivey fucking thing going completely sideways and him being a fucking lunatic, it sort of means that, yeah, very quickly you've just burned one of your prime assets. He's gone. The word of trade is just a fucking disaster. Word is shithouse. You've got Karras. There's just not much there, right? The cupboard is pretty bare, but they have got picks. So Detroit, that's one big one to keep an eye on over the weekend as well. Right, there you go. That's a bunch of the sort of trade, off-season, free agency names. What happened in the second round of the draft, Jim? Lots of stuff happened. None of it was really that interesting. I did, however, it wasn't that interesting in terms of like, oh, he's going there. Oh, wow, trade. No. It wasn't that interesting in that regard. What I did like was their setup. So they're in Barclays again. But they aren't. Remember when they did it in like the fucking, I don't know, in an office? This is just like a scaled down version of the first round, and I thought it worked really well. We don't have to do the John Fanta shit, but they just did it again. Anyway, so the craziest part was, as I said, one singular second round pick stayed with its own team, and that was the Raptors taking Jaden Bradley at 50. All the other ones were traded, or players were drafted and then moved as part of a trade. And as I said, like the last 40 picks, so from 20 onwards, apart from 27 and 50, they were the only ones that stayed with the original team. So bit weird. What are you going to do? So very quickly, the rest of the picks, and I think who they made them. I don't know. I think we got most of these right. Houston traded from New York. They get Bruce Thornton. Sure. Richie Saunders, his granddad invented the tater tot. He goes to the Grizzlies. He's tore his ACL though, so it's a bit of a weird one, but good, really good shooter. The Minnesota Timberwolves, which is a very interesting pick in like knowing what we know now of the LaMelo Ball trade. They got Isaiah Evans, the Duke shooter who was next to like Cooper Flag last year. Love that for them. Great shooting depth. Perfect. The Cavs got Malik Thomas, also a really good sort of playmaking shooter. That was pretty good. The Cavs, Cleveland, trade up to get that one. Denver from San Antonio, they get Trevon Brazil, bit of a 3-and-D dude for Denver. Sure. Clippers take Bubba Miller, which is a pretty good pick as well. I like that for the Clips. Outside of that then, it sort of gets pretty thin on the ground. Miami take Ryan Conwell, sure. Pacers get Braden Smith in that trade for Cam Jones. Sure, the Knicks from the Rockets take Jack Cahill, which is the German dude who played with Hannes Steinbach and co. Who knows, like the Knicks are just drafting and stashing because they're so hard up against the second apron. The Celtics take Dylan Mitchell at 40. I think that's where they're still at. That sounds about right. I think, yeah, Dylan Mitchell. He goes 40. Who was next? You had Otega Owe from... Well, he goes to OKC, I think, at 41. 42, the Spurs take Jacoby Gillespie. Tyler Bilodeau from, it was the stretchy big white forward. The Nets take him at 43. 44 is the Spurs with Malik Brown. I don't mind that. Big wing defender. Very handy. The Kings take Emmanuel Sharp at 45. Defensive sort of shooting guy, sure. Washington take Felix Okpara, big fella from Tennessee. The Knicks, I think this is another one. Vanderbilt shooter Tyler Nickel at 47. The Mavs at 48 take Toby Lawal. I think that's who ends up with that one. Let's just check some of these because it's a bit of a weird one. I think that was 47. Oh, where did Dallas end up picking then? I think they traded back. Or maybe even traded. Oh, yeah, that one went out because they got up to 34, I reckon. Toby Wild goes 48, and I think that was eventually to Philly. So there you go. Sure. Good job. Crazy athlete. He's the British guy who went to Virginia Tech. 49, the Nugs. Bryce Hopkins, forward from St. John's. Jaden Bradley goes to the Raps, as mentioned. Defensive guard from Arizona. Orlando, Isaiah Nelson, a bit of a big rim runner from South Florida. Atlanta take Henry Visar from Estonia, the big stretchy big. Interesting that he dropped all that way. He was a first-round talent, but kept going and going and going. Atlanta get another big. So behind Onyeka Okongwu and our man Jock Lander. Detroit, looks like they got Ugonna Otensu, the big center from Virginia. Golden State take LeJay Jones from Florida State. Clippers then got Nick Martinelli from Kentucky. Dallas, I think at 56, maybe. No, that's gone to Charlotte apparently. Jesus, what a mess. Oh, wait, no, that's last year. What are we doing? We're looking at this the wrong way. Yeah, I think that was Dallas. There we go. Dallas at 56 because they traded from the Lakers for that one. Visavold Ischenko. Sure. Clippers then take Narcisse Noy at 57. Pelicans take Jaron Pierre Jr. That's the most Pelicans name ever. I think he's actually the son of their mascot. Minnesota take Trey Kaufman, Kylo Ren. Okay, at 59. And the Wiz take our very own Malik Lewis from the Southeast Melbourne Magic Phoenix at 60. Mr. Irrelevant. Malik Lewis, obviously a big-bodied wing. You can do a little bit of everything. I love Malik Lewis. So I think that's a very, very interesting pickup for the Wiz. And look, he was still young, but wow, the way he developed his second year was really, 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 really impressive. So don't mind me some Malik Lewis. Then the two-way deals, you had Toby Awaka with a two-way for Chicago, Sam Hoiberg on the Suns, Kadir Copeland on the Rockets, Josh Dix on the Thunder, Trey Donaldson on the Heat. He was from Miami as well. And Vanderbilt, Aiko Karake goes to the Lakers. So not too many crazy things going on in the second round. And you're kind of like, all right, this is just some good depth pieces. It's always interesting. Like, I think this is a pretty decent second round as well. And this is the thing that NIL does with the college ranks is that, you know, some of those, I'm kind of on the bubble, whatever. I'm just going to go back to college, make some more money, live that college life. And then some of the dudes who stay in the draft, they're probably a little bit more ready to help, or they're full-blown projects who are out there going, oh, I'm going to be a draft and stash, or I'm going to hang out, and I don't know how good I'm going to be. But I think obviously my favorite there was probably the Isaiah Evans pickup, where you get Minnesota with a really good, you know, guard shooter. And I'm like, ooh, not bad, good size. Need that next to LaMelo and Ant-Man and AO. So very, very nice. But yeah, I bet you they wish that they snagged a big forward as well. But oh well, they've got Joanne Beningay and our man Rocco Zakarsky, so maybe they're okay. Right, but that's kind of it. So that's the second round. There wasn't too much else really sort of that popped off. Apparently the Hornets are trying to trade for Jaylen Brown, which is pretty funny. That'd be hilarious. What could you get? I don't know. Kevin Porter Jr. has exercised his player option to return to the Bucks, which is fine. But yeah, I don't know. Jaylen Brown on the Hornets would be pretty funny. Do you get Miller for Jaylen Brown? You know the Boston fans would love Connie Nips, but there's no way you give him up for Jaylen Brown. So, yeah. All right, but that's it. Let's go watch the Socceroos. I'm going to press the button. What a week it was. I love draft week. There is very few things that make me happier than the NBA draft. And then, obviously, the second round, and we head into free agency. As mentioned, we'll be back on Monday for a big free agency show. Might be a late show Monday, I think, because I've got both the squids, I think, all day Monday. So we'll see how we go. And then we'll do a show on Wednesday as free agency opens, right? Because what is it, June 30, 6 p.m. over there at their time. So it's like first thing Monday morning for us. So as that all unfolds, we'll be there breaking it all down as well. So here's to a big weekend, I reckon. NBA Straya, follow us on Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, and YouTube. We did an NBA coffee run this morning as well. That was pretty fun. Get around NFL Australia with myself and Gaz. Actually, Gaz and I are going to 28 Days in Area 7 tonight at the Prince. I can't wait. Do you know how excited I am to go see 28 Days tonight? It's going to be fucking off its head. Everybody rip it up. Yo, check this stuff, bro. Go. Fuck yes. It's going to be a bunch of old dudes like me wearing fucking basketball hats. Pretending like we're fucking 19. What is it? Footy Unfiltrated with myself and Jez. That was a great show this week, so go check that out if you like your AFL. And Jim does Supercoach. The AFL Supercoach show came out too, so go get around all of those on your podcast app or YouTube. Rate, star, subscribe, etc. You know what to do. It's 2026. Come on. Help support the show. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. You can buy me a coffee, buy me a tin. When you do, you become part of the Dead Set Legends Club and you get exclusive content every month, which is really, really fun. So go do that. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. Helps keeps the lights on. Helps keep the lights on even. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song They Rule. So do Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinator, Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa, Sex Jedi, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear on the show, so smash them all on your music streaming platform of choice. Buy their shit from Bandcamp, etc. Remember, NBA Australia supports Australian bands. And that's it. We'll close out today's show with a deli review because, of course, we will. No, we're going to throw a Cooking with Bainesy on the end of this one. Yeah, Cooking with Bainesy, all right? And we will catch you on Monday for a big free agency preview, off-season trade wraps, etc. Who knows what's going to happen this weekend? It's going to be chaos. And we'll see you on Monday, you dickheads. Have a great weekend. This is NBA Australia saying, go Socceroos! Look after yourselves, hug your mates, and later, hosen.
Cooking with Bainesy is filmed in front of a live studio audience. And now it's time for Cooking with Bainesy with your host, Aaron Bangers Baines. G'day. Yes, how are you all? Oh, look at you over there. I see you over there again, Cheryl. Yes, we know that you love it. Oh, this is great. Yeah, g'day. Welcome to Cooking with Bainesy. I am your host, Aaron Bangers Bainesy. All right, so this here episode, we're going to whip up one of my absolute favourite Australian staples. You can have it whenever as well, at night, for dinner, after a big night on the Terps. It's that absolute Aussie classic. It is Hawaiian pizza. Oh, yes, that's right. I love me some Hawaiian pizza, and it's easy as to make, mate. I mean, it definitely helps keeping up this physique, if you know what I mean. I reckon I probably cook about 3 of these bloody things a week, you know what I'm saying? And also, hey, just for yous out there as well, don't bloody listen to anyone who says shit about pineapple on pizza. They can go and do what I tell every centre in the Eastern Conference of the NBA. They can go fuck themselves, all right? You can put whatever the fuck you want on pizza. It's pizza. All right, so anyway, Hawaiian pizza is bloody simple, mate. All you gotta do is go down to your soupy and grab yourself a pizza base. I love the spongier, thick ones, you know. Grab a thing of tomato paste. Now, don't bother with the fancy pants shit with basil or oregano in it unless you want to be like all fancy pants and shit. Because then you just grab a bunch of shredded ham from the deli, grab a bag of shredded cheese. Now, you can have mozzarella, cheddar, home brand, whatever you want. Doesn't matter. It's just bloody cheese. And the key ingredient, a tin of pineapple chunks. Now, it's pretty easy to whip this bad boy up, so let's get to it. All right, here we go. Now, just whip your base out. There you go. All right, now smother it with the tomato paste. Oh, yep, there you go. Smooth her out a bit. Just make sure it's all over the entire thing. Now, dump your ham on there. Yep, all this shredded ham. Now, get your fingers amongst that. Shove that to the edges. There you go. Spread that out nice and even. Yep, there you go. All right, now cover this liberally with the dead pig. Come on, man. You got to put the ham everywhere. You just need hoops and hoops and hoops of ham. Just make sure it's the nice shredded stuff, though. All right, now drain your pineapple into the sink, or you can drain it into a cup and drink that pineapple juice, you know. What bloke doesn't like a cup of pineapple juice, you know what I'm saying, ladies? There we go. Now, fang the chunks of pineapple on there. Just put it everywhere, you know, just throw it around. And then cover up the entire bloody thing with your shredded cheese. All right. Now, we've got this oven over here. Just wang her in there in the oven. There you go, just for a good 15, 20 minutes at about 220 degrees Celsius. None of that Fahrenheit bullshit. Now, sit back, grab a tin, and let her cook. Oh, doesn't that bloody well smell delicious? All right, now here's one we made a little bit earlier. So you can see once it's browning a bit on the edges and all your cheese is all melty and nice, you whip her out, you chop her up into slices, and Bob is your bloody pizza-loving uncle. Now, give it a sec to cool down before you chow down. Don't burn your bloody tongue because that cheese will be hot as buggery, eh? So, all right, now it's there. Just get your bloody munch on. And that is an absolute bloody ripper of a meal. The best bit is, and this will impress everyone, right? You can cook it whenever you want. Mates, the missus, kids, everyone bloody loves Hawaiian pizza. And if they don't, just give them the old bangers, don't argue, and go tell them to cook their own bloody pizza. because this is just bloody delicious, mate. All right, how easy was that? Cool. There you go. That is absolutely unreal. Love me some Hawaiian pizza. All right, so that's it for this week. Tune in next week for a new recipe, and we'll see you then on the next episode of Cooking with Bainesy.